In this video, I'm sharing with you 6 abilities that most of the Apex player base uses incorrectly. We'll start off with the Wraith Portal and end with Gibraltar's Bubble. Everything in between is equally as valuable. If you're making mistakes in Apex, then this is the video for you. So let's do this. Now, starting off with the Wraith Portal, debatably this is the most important part of her kit. This ability is one that I see used incorrectly often. And the portal has a lot more viability than most people seem to notice. It can be used as an escape tool, or a rotational tool, or even an attacking tool, and even sometimes a kidnapping tool. But before we get into the use cases, let me talk about such a large issue with this. People forget that it exists in a fight. What do you mean, Mangos? Well, I mean there are opportunities people have within the engagement to use it to gain a severe advantage. Like, are your teammates running low on health and the enemies are getting closer? Does your team have the height advantage in that fight? Or could the portal assist in making that happen? The key here is learning to be preemptive with this ability. It will not reward you if you wind up using it too late. But let's get more specific. The use of this ability can be the difference between life or death, and it's important that you know this. However, most commonly people use it as an escape tool, but it can be used in an opposite fashion as well. Like, a good way to use it is to place your portal in a way where someone coming through it can't get back in it, or in other words, kidnapping them. You may see this tactic in pro play often, where it's an extremely good way to turn the fight into your favor if pulled off correctly. And this is an advanced tactic, and it's not suitable for every type of fight. But the Wraith Portal has the potential to transport you and your entire team to a separate part of a fight, or even to retreat entirely. More defensively, it can be used to block 2 doorways off so the opposing team can't get inside of your building, because maybe your team needs to fall back or even reset. You could also use it very quickly when a third party is approaching. But a good rule of thumb is to place one end of the portal out of line of sight of the enemy so that they have to think twice before taking it. There should be an essence of confusion when an enemy decides to take it, and if you use that to your advantage, you can seriously outplay them. The bottom line here is that the portal is much more than a gateway between 2 locations on the map. Think outside the box with it, and you will truly reap the rewards. Next is Caustic's ultimate, and this is the most offensive part of his kit. Caustic's ult can be such a large factor in the midst of a fight, and it's very important you use it at the right time and in the right place. See, most players using Caustic end up chucking it, like Tom Brady on 4th down in the Super Bowl, and this is often a huge waste. Caustic is best when he's in a spot where the gas can be enclosed, such as a building or even a room within that building. The timing of this ultimate is one of the more difficult abilities in the game because of the limited time it stays around and the broader understanding that enemies don't want to linger in it. Higher elo players will know to wait it out and to keep your team in a small space until the gas is gone. But there are 2 ways to be using Caustic's ultimate: to attack and to defend. To successfully attack a team, you're going to want to throw it when you absolutely know the opposing team will get hit with it. The slowing, stunning, and the flash on the enemy screen is a massive piece of the puzzle in the use of this ability, because make sure you're not only hitting them with the gas, but shooting at the players in the gas at the same time. It's about capitalizing on the opponents while they're in that vulnerable state, because most players aren't going to stick around long enough to get knocked strictly to the gas damage. But if you could potentially one-clip them while they have their back turned to you and they're trying to slowly get out of the gas, well, that will be critical. And this is how you fully utilize this ultimate when attacking opponents. But let's talk about defending. When you use this ultimate on defense, it should only be used when you have no other choice. Think of it as a last-ditch effort, because as said previously, you want to make sure the enemies get hit with it, but you can also use it to deny area and buy you time to heal and partially reset the fight if you need to. But I only use this ability in a defensive manner if I feel like it's the last option I have with it. If you guys are enjoying this video, all I ask in return is that you smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm. This helps push the video out to more viewers, and as a little thank you, I'll throw in another clip of me skateboarding at the end of this video. So thanks for doing that. Now for Valkyrie, and I'm going to talk about her tactical and her ultimate. The Valk ult is the best means of rotating in Apex Legends, as it basically is a mobile redeploy balloon. There are 2 ways of thinking about using the Valk ult rotation: macro and micro. Macro is more of a movement from one area to another that is far away. Think of it as moving from one POI to another POI, such as when you look to where the circle is and it's pulling quite far away. Using this to mitigate any trouble you could run into from rotating super late is one of the best options here. Now, on the micro side of things, it's more about moving within the same POI or subtly around it. More times than not, you will use the Valk ult to macro rotate, but things you want to make note of while using this ultimate is to make sure no one has line of sight on you from when you're taking off to when you're landing. and looking for those scans and understanding where people are, because as you land into something you know limited info about, you could run into something sketchy. Try to use what you learn from the scans and land in advantageous positions on that specific part of the map. Now you may be wondering, well, when's the best time to be using this ultimate ability? And here are my best recommendations. Use it when you need to get to another place quickly, such as out of the ring and into the zone. You can also use it because you realize a team has a high ground advantage over you, but they drop down because they begin to push you, and you and your team have enough time to Valkyrie and steal their former position. This could be critical in tilting the fight into your favor. Also, sometimes in late game scenarios, you can use it to land out of bounds for a few seconds because you're unsure what is safe to play. You could then drop down below you to secure a spot last second, and you will see this done a lot in competitive Apex. However, just be sure to use it out of line of sight of the enemy and avoid landing separated from one another in a potentially dangerous situation. Landing separated from one another is a huge reason why Valkyries can go from great to terrible quickly. Alright, now on to Valkyrie's Q, the Missile Swarm. This is one of the best tacticals in the game. It deals a good amount of damage, it has a large radius on it, and it also has that Arc Star stunning effect, which is the same thing that happens when you cross a Watson fence. Now, the most optimal way of using this ability is to get opponents out behind that cover that they're utilizing. It's a great tool at denying area. Now, you can also pair it with other Legends abilities as well as throwables. I mean, if you think about it, imagine getting damage for 25 from a Valk missile and then hit by 60 with an Arc Star, and you're still not able to move because those two separate stunning effects are going on. You can also coordinate this with one of your teammates so that they can beam the opponent that you just stunned with your missile swarm. This should be a free kill for your team. This ability has so much damage potential, and it's up to you to use it correctly, but the most common error I see from coaching players is they tend to hit themselves with the ability, because she will get stunned and take damage from her own Q if she doesn't do it right. So try to use this ability when you have full clearance around an object. A good way of knowing that you won't hit yourself is if you see very little or none of the cover that you are standing behind. Alright, next is the most troubled legend, Octane. The Octane stim is the most incorrectly used ability in this game, hands down. People will constantly stim and run into a fight with no health and wonder why they just died. And just because your stim is off cooldown does not mean you have to use it. You want to start using it sparingly and strategically, because the main issue with this is, well, number one, the cooldown makes it so people think they should use it often. And yes, it's honestly fun to go fast, but it usually makes it so you're way ahead of your teammates when you bump into an enemy squad, and you've just wasted health before that fight has even opened up. And number two, there's a thought in Apex that having a full shield negates the total overall combo of your health and shield. What does this mean? Well, take this for example. You just stimmed twice and 40 of your health is gone, but you have a full purple armor. Almost half of your health is gone, so you're back to an amount that is between a white armor and a blue armor. If 40 damage off your shield was gone before you even shot your gun in a fight, would you go push a full team? Probably not. The Octane stim can be a very valuable utility, especially with the element of surprise and the enemies not thinking you will be there that quickly. And you can also use it to create a faster strafe as you move around them close up. You can use it to quickly loot, and you can also use it to navigate out of something tricky, but be wary of constantly stimming everywhere because it will add up and put you in a bad spot. You guys still there? Okay, the last one is the Gibby bubble. Gibby is OP, there's no way getting around it, but he's only OP if you know how to use him correctly. Gibby's bubble is more than just a reviving tool. The bubble has so much versatility, such as giving your team a chance to reset and heal, or providing cover and taking space in an engagement. Although the Gibby bubble has all of these capabilities, it's up to you to use it in the right place and at the right time. The Gibby dome can be a sign of aggression, but it can also be a sign of weakness if seen by the right opponent. Using the bubble too early in any engagement can tell the opposing team that you will be vulnerable and you could get rushed once it's gone. Or better yet, if they don't even need to close the gap to make you pay for using it incorrectly, they will. So the best rule of thumb for the Gibby dome is to be conservative in the way that you use it. Being conservative with your dome can give you another option in a fight if it shifts out of your favor. Use it only when a teammate is about to go down, or if your whole team needs to heal and you're in a place where there's little cover. You can also use it in an aggressive manner, because aggressive Gibby domes can be very good in the midst of a battle. Throwing the dome ahead of your team and provide cover for your team to take space and move up on your enemies. But be mindful of the more space you give up, the less space you have to play in a bubble fight. If you master your surroundings, you will master the Gibby bubble. Overall, Gibraltar is such an insane legend in the way his kit works, and if you can use it correctly, that is just one more advantage you hold over your opponents. If you enjoyed this video and are interested in 15 Apex secrets that most people don't know, I suggest you click on this video here. Thanks for watching. Peace.